We'll start with the aligned defense. So you see the block car here of one. A couple takeaways are the balance and how low the diggers are when they're shuffling. So they're reading the hitter the whole way here. Their alignment is deep. Their base is ready to go in both directions, and that's some of the advantages of the aligned defense. Second one here, you'll see the angle call and how the length of the court, the 42 feet from pin to corner, allows for some room for OT. But then you can shrink the court when you switch your call to blocking line. So now the same, try to swing over the top, out of bounds, too far long. Block call is a 2 here, and what the takeaways here are that the diggers are generating momentum or moving back towards 6. So if they're going to get beat in one direction, it's going to be on the sideline. You want to force the offense to hit wide, more chance of error. And throughout impact here, you see them reading the arm swing the whole way through. So the skills in all these defensive strategies, regardless of the call, it comes down to the players to make the play, to make the read. That's just an example of if the defenders are too shallow or working towards the sideline, where there's open space and a common easy point for the offense. One last example here of the aligned defense. The block call is angle. Diggers are deep, reading the hitter, working back towards the middle of the court.
I told him I like you. So.
All right, one last thing we haven't hit on with the aligned defense is how when the blocker is able to align straight on the hitter and reach within their body line, straight up, straight over the net, that's when the block can be at their biggest. So we talked about how the defensive range, the diggers, can be maximizing their range, being balanced, ready to move in both directions. But now as a blocker, you can be even bigger as well, staying in front of your body line. Added to the disguise now, a late move to the line. This is really putting the pressure on the offense to make the right read. So Mike, maybe not having a clean read of where to shoot the ball or where the opening is, rips cross court, and it allows for Pat to make a play. Now a disguise move into the angle, so a late move. You'll notice Ian making his late move here to the line, and the blocker reaching outside his body line. So diving my left hand into the meat of the court, into the seam, really finishing strong to pick off a deceptive move. Moving into that third tier defensive strategy, optimizing. This first example is based on optimization of your strength. So balls that were blockable, we wanted Travis to be real aggressive. Diggable balls, we wanted the opponent to hit at EJ. So this is all based on our strengths. And if you watch the film of our boat ride run, there's plenty of examples of large court space for EJ to cover and being successful in making that play. This next one here is a really strong block move by Griffin. So you see the call there 4, but recognizing the tight set, he sees the opportunity to take a chance and goes and grabs the ball. A really effective block move. Now, you may have seen one of my recent posts, that the Kyle Ratty School of Blocking. It goes through different principles of blocking and owning the net on the tight balls, and that's a very important strategy to be effective. This next one's based off the tendencies of the hitters. So if you picture the heat map of where they're siding out, Bill had scored a couple easy side outs, swinging to his right on the 2-ball. So recognizing it was a block ball and pretty hard to dig, you'll see my move here is a full commit to that sharp shot, low and all the way to the sideline. Reading their tendencies, we were able to come up with a strategy that was effective. The next one here is about how your blocker can be responsible for multiple areas of the court. So Ian's blocking 6 here and successfully clamps Amdahl on a swing to high deep cross. We're taking chances in rhythm based on the tendencies of the hitters. Now this next one are a handful of examples of the split blocking. The first tactic in order to do this effectively is to make sure you as a blocker line up your head right on the contact point, the right arm of the hitter here in this case, and then your eyes are going to do the rest of the work. So whether you swing block or beach block, line up your head and now watch with your eyes the arm swing, the wrist, to finish your hands strong across the net. So when you're split blocking, a lot of times your hands are moving independently and maybe more prone to tool or a little bit weaker. But if you focus just on the low ball, the ceiling close to the net, and working your hands back towards 6, you can be real effective. And what allows you to do that is knowing or trusting your defense that anything that's coming through your head, you can either see and recognize and react to with a late move as your hands are already moving back towards the middle of your body, or you let it come through clean and let your diggers make a play. And once you start to get to do these aggressive moves over and over and over again, you might find a rhythm and get a feel for the hitters to make a play yourself. Now into our last defensive strategy, read. So Tyler, Kyle, and I, we did the entire luau tournament with the read as our defense mainly. Some really good examples in there. And what you'll notice here, first, how deep Tyler starts. Blockers have that responsibility low to the tape. The diggers then will have that deep 6 neutral base. So Tyler in all these examples starting deep. Well, the second one, you'll see that we end up tripling up on the angle. So maybe Chandler's loaded up to Joe and late to get into position, and maybe line's wide open, but we end up playing the ball that gets hit, and it becomes a very effective strategy, putting a ton of stress on the offense. Now, even though we triple up, a lot of times high-level hitters are still going to hit their primary shot just because they're going to score that efficiently. It's too much of a risk to turn this ball late down the line, even though it's wide open. So you're playing those odds with a straight read. Now, in this example, I want you to watch Tyler. There's nothing calling for him to roam line. This is strictly him reading the set, the hitter's arm swing, and the tendencies. So here, he's reading, and ends up perfectly lined up. So over the course of a match of getting to see hitter tendencies and different examples, Tyler then can almost defend the entire width of the back line himself, just getting in rhythm as a defender. So we talked about how blockers can get in rhythm, defenders can too. So you tell me, at the highest levels, like this example, what's the defensive call? Is this a line? Is this all scripted of where Gage is going to dig and where Micah's going to block? Or are they optimizing their defense where Gage is running away from Micah as the bigger blocker and daring them to spike more balls at Micah? Or is this all straight read, 100% read, where Gage is roaming the back line and the blockers are just trying to block the ball that gets hit? So are they taking the chance? Is Joe reaching here because it's a read call, or is it because the way they want to play it? At the end of the day, regardless the level of play or defensive strategy, grass triples is a beautiful format of the game, and it requires you to be aggressive and take chances. There's so many different ways to play and so many different ways of how to defend, and it's a place where crazy things can happen. We didn't even get to defending tempo, defending the 2-ball, how to peel, when to peel. So it's on you. It's on you to make a play. It's on you to find what works. It's on you to work with the team, to learn, to grow, to come up with your own defensive strategies and grow together and ultimately to have some fun doing it. So best of luck. Hope you enjoyed.